द हरप्रीत सिंह शो के अज के इस एपीसोड में आप सब का हार्दिक स्वागत है। मैं तुहाडा होस्ट हरप्रीत सिंह, सरी, ब्रिटिश कोलंबिया, कैनेडा तो। जिस तरह तुहानूं सब नूं पता है कि अक्टूबर 15 ਨੂੰ म्यूनिसिपल चोणां होण जा रही हैं, तो उसके मद्देनज़र असी हर रोज़ तुहाडे नाल अहम शख्सियतां जिहड़ियां कि पार्टिसिपेट कर रही हैं इस रेस में, उन्हां नाल मुलाकात कराने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो अज साडा फोकस रहेगा सरी स्कूल ट्रस्टी जो बनना चाहते हैं, उन्हां विचों हन डॉक्टर सनी मांगट। So let's go over to her and learn from her about her background, what she intends to do, and why has she decided to jump into this race. Let's welcome Dr. Sunny Mangat. Dr. Mangat, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Harpreet, for having me. I appreciate the
Welcome.
opportunity to share my information with you.
Wonderful. So a little bit about yourself. What do you do and how did you plan to jump into this race?
Oh, okay. So good question. So for starters, I'm a sociologist. My research, my background is actually in sociology, where I have a doctorate in sociology. And currently I teach at Quantum Polytechnic University. I've been there. I've been teaching at the university level for about 5 years now, and I teach first year sociology. I also teach some third year courses, but a big reason why I actually wanted to run for school trustee is because I get the opportunity to teach a lot of our high school graduates in Surrey. They usually come to me first, and after kind of seeing some of the things that I thought we needed some more attention to, also hearing from the students themselves, I thought it would be a good time for me to run, along with the idea that our school board actually hasn't changed that much in even 20 plus years. So I thought
Right.
it was a good opportunity for me to kind of bridge my work alongside that.
Okay, wonderful. So you are a resident of Surrey and now you're running for the position of school trustee. What are those things that you feel that need to be changed in the Surrey school district? So, and you're also running as an independent, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I am running independently. And I'm running independently for a few reasons. The main reason I believe that actually, I think in all political aspects, I think we need to kind of steer away from these teams and these slates, because when we look at a team or a slate, we can also realize that not everybody is equally qualified, and we should actually be choosing the best candidates for our city, for our schools. So for me, that was the reason why I chose to work to run independently.
Okay.
But I also grew up in Surrey. I
Okay.
went to elementary school here. I went to high school. I also teach in Surrey now. So
Right.
again, for me, it makes sense for me to be running because I have a different lens. I have the lens as being as a student growing up here, going through our education system. I also have the lens from a teacher aspect. Also the lens of a parent, because my son will be actually entering our education system next year.
Okay, wonderful. So what ails the school system in Surrey? What are those major issues that you feel that you will need to work upon if elected?
So there's a few specific areas. For one thing, our schools are definitely overcrowded. Our city has changed over the last 20 years, and we don't actually have enough space for all the bodies, literally. So we need to do more about that. Our schools are underfunded across all programs. One particular area that I am are really interested in is looking at students with disabilities. For example, autistic students or parents with autistic children. The funding is actually going to be changing in 2025. So the individualized funding we see now is going to go work in like a hub, where basically it's not based on diagnosis. However, our systems already are so underfunded that students with disabilities are not actually receiving the support that they need now. So in 2025, that's actually going to get worse. And what a lot of people don't recognize, they focus on, well, that's just, you're looking at only students with the disabilities, but that has huge implications in the classrooms. If you have one teacher with multiple complex needs, with supports that are needed, but the support is not there, that also affects the entire classroom, the management of the classroom. Given the fact that the classrooms are already overcrowded, then we have other aspects that come into play. For example, if there's English as a second language, then we have the complex needs, and then we have the other students and one teacher. So if they're not being supported, that's going to have huge implications in our schools. So that needs to be addressed. We are already seeing that we don't have enough counselors. So there's one full-time counselor for every 965 students. We've seen with COVID the implications of that. So we have a lot of areas that need to be addressed.
Right.
And a big part of this is, sorry, I just want to kind of expand, is when we don't serve our communities, it's going to impact our entire city, not just the education system.
We're here at the Newton Ice Arena, and as you can see, this is a really old building. This is probably the oldest ice arenas in Surrey. It is in desperate need of an upgrade, but not only that, we need to have more ice surfaces in Newton for the youth. Surrey kids and Surrey families want to play hockey and ringette and figure skate in this city. We need the facilities, and we need those facilities now. We're here today at the Pyle Business Centre in Surrey, and you can see it is a real example of what multiculturalism means to us in our city. The challenge, however, is we need better parking here, we need better traffic control here, and we certainly need better access and egress to this facility. So here we are again in Newton, and as you can see, potholes are all over the roads of Newton. We need to fix the assets we've got. We need to make this a 4-lane road, and we need to make proper sidewalks for good public safety. You can see we're here today at the South Surrey bus loop. It is time to get transportation all the way down here to South Surrey. You know, every part of this city is in desperate need of transportation. We need to run rapid bus or SkyTrain. We need to run transportation networks all the way through the city, through Newton and straight down here to South Surrey. The Surrey Connect team will make sure that we work with TransLink to get the best service we can for this area and this region.
ਘਰ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹਰ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਣੀ ਨਿੱਜੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਸੁਨਹਿਰੀ ਪਲ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰਿਆ ਜੀਵਨ ਬਤੀਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਦ ਕਿਸੇ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਨੂੰ ਸਜੇ ਹੋਏ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਬਦਲਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ। ਨਵੇਂ ਘਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਰੇਮਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ਿੰਗ ਤੱਕ, ਡ੍ਰੇਪਰੀ, ਪੇਂਟਿੰਗਸ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਡੈਕੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਐਸੈਸਰੀਜ਼ ਤੱਕ, ਤੁਸੀਂ SK ਹੋਮ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਹਕੀਕਤ 'ਚ ਬਦਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਕਰੋ ਸੰਦੀਪ ਕੌਰ 6048259295।
ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ? ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਦੇ ਓਨਰ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਨੂੰ ਵੇਖ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇੰਟੈਲੀਜੈਂਸ ਦਾ ਉਦਾਹਰਨ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਾਰ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਖ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਸਰੀ ਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਟਰੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲੋੜ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜੀਂਦੇ ਟਰੱਕਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸਪੇਸ, ਮੋਡੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਫਿਊਲ ਐਫੀਸ਼ੀਐਂਸੀ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਧਿਆਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਟਰੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਟੌਰ।
ਸਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਮੇਅਰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਆਮ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਬਣੇ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਤੇ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਵਧੇ, ਟੈਕਸ ਘਟਣ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਆ ਵਧੇ ਅਤੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਮਿਟ ਦੀ ਮਨਜ਼ੂਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਆਵੇ। ਯੂਨਾਈਟਿਡ ਸਰੀ ਦੀ ਟੀਮ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਪੂਰਾ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਸੁਖ ਧਾਲੀਵਾਲ। 15 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਨੂੰ ਯੂਨਾਈਟਿਡ ਸਰੀ ਟੀਮ ਨੂੰ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਕਰੋ।
Well, you've laid the groundwork of what you feel needs to be done, but there's a lot of hue and cry, especially from the parents. They are concerned about the easy availability of drugs in and around the schools. Are youngsters getting into gangs? And there are reports that students as little as 7 8 years who are in grade fifth or sixth, they are going into being enticed to sell drugs. So all these things that are happening, how worried are you about that, and how strong is your position on this? How will you tackle this issue?
Well, actually, that's an area I am actually very concerned about as well. So, what I do at the university level, because by the time they reach me, they're 17, 18, 19, up to 22 years old. So, when they get to me, it's not really about having them avoid gangs, it's actually trying to support them to get out. So, I talk about a lot of this in my class. I actually have the RCMP actually going to be coming into my classes next week to talk to students how to get out. We also have other issues. It's not just gangs. We have sexual exploitation that happens. We have drugs. We have gangs. And it's starting at the age of 10 years old is when students are actually being recruited. By the time they are turn 16 and they actually obtain a driver's license, that is when they're the most vulnerable, because they are usually targeted to essentially drive and sell or distribute the drugs. So they call it dial-a-doping. So yeah, we definitely have an issue that needs to be addressed. We need to actually work with policing and bridge that more into the classroom. I'm doing it at the university level, but that's too late. We need to be doing this very
Right.
young. We also need to bring the parents in, because we can also see that within our communities, the very different demographics, the gang issue is going to be very different depending on the cultural background. So in the South Asian community, we do have an issue. So if we don't work with the schools, don't work with our CMP, or depending on whatever police force that we have, and actually look at it from a very specific cultural lens, it's not going to be we're not going to see changes, because what we can see is in our South Asian community, it's not the typical how we once thought that gangs were really about low income, and there was a huge connection there. But we also see other aspects of identity and power and race all playing into here, and we need to incorporate more studies and research alongside that.
So basically, what you're saying is this should start at the ground level rather than waiting till the time the students come to the universities. It's too late, and at that time, it's difficult to handle. But you will create an environment where these kind of issues will be talked, and work will be done to not get these children be allowed to be enticed into gangs and violence. Okay, there was a time
We
when in
need more
schools.
programs.
Yeah, there was a time in schools earlier when there used to be police liaison officers, and but now there is no such thing. So, are you in favor of having the police in the campus so that that acts as a deterrent also?
So, what I've seen based on the research that because I'm a researcher, right? Police liaisons or more policing doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see less gangs or drugs. Okay. Our students, they're smart, they're creative, so they find other ways of kind of doing what they need to do to navigate that. For me, the main thing is we need to educate our students. We need to empower them. We also need to actually provide more after school extracurricular supervised activities. So we focus our students in a positive manner. It's not necessary policing is going to make that much, active policing is going to make the difference there. But it's actually supporting our students so they don't want to go into those areas in the first place.
What else do you feel that needs to be worked upon if you are elected? What will be your other priorities?
So the other aspect is we need more representation. What we see is we talk a lot about like multiculturalism, diversity, we talk about racism, but a lot of times we apply that kind of more in a tokenistic kind of fashion. So for example, we might celebrate like the Diwali one day, right? Or one time out of the year, but we have a very diverse student population. And I think when we just reserve like multiculturalism for one day, that's not enough. We also have other students, like we have Black students, we have Indigenous, we have Filipino students, we have a number of different groups that are within our school. So I think we need to integrate more of those different cultural practices and also into our learning. I think that will actually make a big difference because we do also see a large immigrant population in our schools as well.
Okay, in conclusion, what would you like to say?
In conclusion, I would like to say that currently, if we look at our Board of Trustees, we have some members who've been there for over 22 years. Our city has changed drastically, and we need to make some fundamental changes to our schools, and that should start with the school board. So we need more representation in order to meet our community needs. Because if we don't start with representation, then we don't actually understand what the various communities need. So I would urge you all, and I would actually be privileged and honored if you would all vote for me on October 15th, Sunny Mangat.
I forgot one question, and that is about portables, because that's another issue which Surreyites are facing, that a lot of their children have to study in portables. Do you have a plan on this particular aspect?
Yeah, and I think the plan for that, portables are not new. I mean, we've been having this portable issue again when I was in high school, so like 22 years ago. So portables aren't necessarily a bad thing, but we have too many. And the reason why we end up running to portables is because we don't have the data. And that is why you need people like me. I'm a researcher. I examine data all the time. So if we're looking at data and we actually have a more concrete number, that will actually help us with planning to actually determine how many seats we actually physically need. And that will in turn consequently kind of reduce the number of portables.
Okay.
The big issue is we don't have accurate data, and if we don't have accurate data, we can't actually implement properly.
Okay, it was a pleasure talking to you. Congratulations for bringing your name forward, and best wishes for October the 15th. If people want to learn more about you, do you have a website or any contact where they can call you?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can find me on Facebook under Dr. Sunny Mangat. They can also email me, mangatsunny79@hotmail.com. You can also get the link to the City of Surrey website under the candidate list.
Okay, Dr. Sunny Mangat, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you once again, and best wishes for October the 15th.
Perfect. Thank you, Harpreet. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. ਸੋ ਇਸ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਨੀ ਮੰਗਤ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਸਰੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਟਰਸਟੀ ਵਜੋਂ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਵਜੋਂ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ 15 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਕਰੋ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਆਪ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ 'ਚ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਨੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਜਾਣ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਸਕੂਲ ਵਿੱਚ, ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਸੋਸ਼ੀਓਲੋਜਿਸਟ ਨੇ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੇਂਦਰਿਤ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਪਕੜ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ 15 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੋਟ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ। ਅਤੇ 15 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਨੂੰ ਜੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਘਰੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਲੋ ਅਤੇ ਸਹੀ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਓ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਚੈਲੰਜਸ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਫੇਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੋਣਹਾਰ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਆ ਕੇ ਕੁਝ ਚੇਂਜਸ ਲਿਆ ਸਕਣ। थोड़ा मेरा साथ हुआ करता है मंडे टू फ्राइडे शाम के 6 बजे पैसिफिक स्टैंडर्ड टाइम के मुताबिक। इफ़ यू ऑल्सो वांट टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस प्रोग्राम, कंटैक्ट मी एट 6046037555 और यू कैन ईमेल मी एट harpreetsingh@gmail.com। ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ AMC ਇੰਸ਼ੋਰੈਂਸ ਦੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਨਾਲ। ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਮ, ਆਟੋ, ਟਰੈਵਲ, ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ, ਲਾਈਫ ਜਾਂ ਰਿਕ੍ਰੀਏਸ਼ਨਲ ਇੰਸ਼ੋਰੈਂਸ ਲੈਣ ਦੀ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ 9 ਬ੍ਰਾਂਚਸ ਨੇ ਲੋਅਰ ਮੇਨਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਹਫਤੇ ਦੇ 7 ਦਿਨ ਖੁੱਲੀਆਂ ਰਹਿੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 604 507 6666 604 507 6666। Our next sponsor is Agnihotri Immigration, temporary status PR, ਨਵੇਂ ਹੋ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ, ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਆਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਅੰਤਰਰਾਸ਼ਟਰੀ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਜਾਂ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ, ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਨੀਰਾ ਅਗਨੀਹੋਤਰੀ। 2006 ਤੋਂ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੰਸਲਟੈਂਟ ਵਜੋਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਓਨੈਸਟ ਤੇ ਰਿਲਾਇਬਲ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਣਗੇ। ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 604 597 2284। 6045972284। ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੀ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਫਿਰ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਹੈਵ ਅ ਸੇਫ ਈਵਨਿੰਗ, ਸਟੇ ਹੈਲਦੀ ਐਂਡ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਯੋਰਸੈਲਫ। ਵੈਨਕਾਸਾ ਟਾਈਲ ਅਤੇ ਸਟੋਨ ਸ਼ੋਰੂਮ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਲਸੇਲ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਹਰ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਾਈਲਸ, ਸਟੋਨ, ਮਾਰਬਲ, ਬੈਕਸਪਲੈਸ਼, ਮੋਜ਼ੇਕ ਆਦਿ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਟਾਲੀਅਨ, ਸਪੈਨਿਸ਼, ਚਾਈਨੀਜ਼, ਪੋਰਸਲਨ ਜਾਂ ਸਿਰੈਮਿਕ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਜਾਂ ਮਾਰਬਲ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਆਰਡਰ ਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਲੀਅਰੈਂਸ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਮਾਲਕ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਇੰਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ, ਜਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਸਮਾਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਿੰਗਾਰ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰੋ 1304 84 ਐਵਨਿਊ ਸਰੀ। ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 604 330 7363 604 330 7363।
My name is Jesse Desanja. I'm running for a Delta Council. I'm living in Delta for almost 40 years. We raised our children in Delta, and now I'm enjoying my time with my grandchildren and youth of Delta. I'm a head coach with the Universal Athletics Club, who we founded in 2000. And that club started from 2 athletes, and now we got about 200 athletes into that organization. Being a good coach, you need to be a teacher, you need to be a father figure, you need to be a friend, you need to be a psychologist. And the most important is that you serving back to a community, right? You shaping the youth into our right directions. My biggest priority is to keep a youth on a right track and advocate for a healthy lifestyle. And I like to see how I can serve into that direction. We need to have resources for active lifestyle. We need to have a more investment into a sports field. George is an excellent leader, and he knows how to get the things done. For example, North Delta track is one of the best track in Lower Mainland. Under his leadership, he brought all 3 levels of government together, make a better team to serve better to a Delta. I was very honored to be elected as a trustee for Delta School Board. I see the position on a council as my next step to serve to a community. I'm proud to be a member of Achieving for Delta teams. That team achieved a lot of accomplishment, and I'm looking forward to continue. On October 15th, please vote for me and Achieving for Delta team to keep our Delta safe and healthy.
ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਰੀ, ਡੈਲਟਾ, ਰਿਚਮੰਡ, ਐਬਸਫੋਰਡ ਜਾਂ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਵਾਂ ਘਰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਰੈਨੋਵੇਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ? ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਤਜਰਬੇਕਾਰ ਬਿਲਡਰ, ਇੱਕ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਿਵ ਇੰਟੀਰੀਅਰ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਰ ਦੀ, ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਹੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਉਸਾਰ ਸਕਣ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਜਾਂ ਸੰਦੀਪ 604 825 9295 ਉੱਤੇ।
ਹਰ ਰੰਗ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ, ਹਰ ਮਾਡਲ, ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਦੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਪਹਿਚਾਣ। ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਹਾਂ, ਸਾਡਾ ਕਰਮ ਹੈ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧਾਉਣਾ, ਸਫ਼ਰ ਨੂੰ ਸੌਖਾ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ। ਬਸੰਤ ਮੋਟਰਸ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ करके।
है जुल्म ढाने का अंदाज भी कितना हंसी, हमारी जान पर बनाई है जब जब उसने अंगड़ाई ली। कभी खामोश रहते हैं, कभी शोर होता है। मोहब्बत में शरारत का मजा कुछ और होता है। दिल को जज्बात का तोहफा, खामोशियों को बात का तोहफा, खूबसूरती में जड़ी नजाकत अदाओं की चांद से मुखड़े को चांद सा तोहफा।
भारत ज्वेलर्स, सच्चे प्यार की चमक जैसा। Pi Business Center, Surrey.
I'm George Harvey. I'm the mayor of Delta, and I'm running for re-election. I have lived in Delta for over 40 years. Spent my life here, raised my family here. Now I get to enjoy the playgrounds with my granddaughter Rania. What drives me to keep going is my passion to help people. It's always been that way. We've done a lot more since my term, but we need to do even more now. My vision for Delta is that we're a thriving, inclusive, safe community. One of my achievements that I'm very proud of is the North Delta Community Track. That's an example of how I can put people together to get things done. It's a great success for the community, and I've got many, many more to do. One of the other accomplishments I'm really proud of is the Ladner lacrosse box. We're putting a cover over it, making it usable year-round. People ask me why our recreational asset's so important. It's what makes the community strong. When you go out to our facilities and you see the parents involved, the youth involved, children that are not hanging out on the streets, they have somewhere to go. But it's that community spirit that keeps a community strong, and it's a good example of why we're so strong in Delta. I want to ensure that when this journey is over, that my grandchildren know that I did everything possible to ensure Delta continues to be a very great place to live, one that is free of discrimination. They need to have the opportunity to be whoever they want to be. They need an opportunity for housing. They need an opportunity for transit. That's my goal, and I'm going to get it done for you. I am so proud of our Achieving for Delta team. It shares my passion and my vision for what's best for Delta. On October 15th, vote for the entire Achieving for Delta team.